Oh shit, y'all getting two in a row from me. Guys, we're gonna talk a little bit about Kohberger today because I'm actually gonna respond to a few comments, a few misconceptions about what actually happens when somebody gets convicted and is on their way to prison. I'm gonna answer questions, I guess, about his tan line and dumb shit like that. You know, snack cakers in the comment section. I'm JB Gunner, this is Crime Time. Let's get on ahead and get on into it. Let's do it.
Bring it back.
Boy, let me tell y'all right off the jump, the snack cakers are losing their mind. And I think what it is, once again, it goes back to the point where nobody likes to be wrong. You know, when your team loses like a big game, like the Super Bowl and shit, motherfuckers get mad and break their TVs and shit. Can you imagine how many donuts has been tossed against the wall by these snack cakers? It's insane, right? And I think a big problem of this is that they're still listening to the conspiracy theories, even though every single conspiracy theory was wrong. And I'm going to give you examples of this shit today, examples of their anger. We're going to talk about the prosecutor a little bit today, and really what happened in this case, and why this deal was made. And to be perfectly honest, this crazy motherfucker, he got a good deal. Yeah, and you know what's really crazy? I think this motherfucker, when he knew he was going to plead guilty, I feel like he came to court trying to look crazy, because in every image I've ever seen of him, he's never looked as crazy as he did on the plea bargain day. I mean, you can see it. I don't know, maybe him just saying he's guilty changes it, but yeah, he don't look like the same Kohberger we saw all this time. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into some of this. We're just going to go ahead and jump in. You guys know the deal. If you guys want to support the channel, feel free to hit the links. Oh yeah, one of these dumb bitches yesterday said, ha ha ha, that's why your tip jar is zero. I don't think this bitch understands that when I make true crime videos, I typically make them in the morning before I start my real channels. This video currently is being made at 7:12 a.m. And the problem is, a lot of these dumb motherfuckers don't know the difference between a premiere, a stream, and a video. She's like, that's why your tip jar didn't go up. Bitch, this is pre-recorded. This is pre-recorded. You can stop it right now. You can pause this right now and you'll see me freeze. This is not live. That means you don't even know I'm recording the video right now in order to send tips. But I do feel good about my audience yesterday because they caught her, and then the bitch made me $60 in that morning video. So thank you for all, and overall for the day, just on this channel, 85. So just that one video. So I do want to say thank you to that one cunt. But anyways, speaking of that cunt, she's somewhere over here as well. I know I pinned her comment. Where'd she go? Where'd this stupid cunt go? Thank you to Nikki Vise. Told you, there you go. Anyways, let me go find Nikki Vise. And before you say those are your only super chats, you understand I don't have a link to my super chats. I get majority of my money because super chats are cool, but YouTube takes 50%. The people that's really in my audience that normally donate, they use PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Apple Pay, because I get all of it. Anyways, I hate schooling these motherfuckers. But anyway, we're going to go here, because where's it at? I have to show this one. I do have to show this one. Your tip jar remains zero for a reason. Yeah, I said remain zero. It's the first video I made. It was 6 a.m. before I even went live on my channels. The tip jar wasn't going to raise in a pre-recorded video, dummy. Gobbles came in and said he wasn't live and early probably. And trust me, it won't stay that way. Both of these two, Gobbles and Kathy, hit the tip jar immediately. Then everybody just sitting here laughing at you. Everybody's just sitting here laughing at you. But anyway, we're going to get to the other comments because I do actually have some serious shit I do want to talk about. So I'm going to scroll on up here to a couple comments here. We got somebody like this. Thomas says, at first, Kohberger will be placed in admitted ad seg and not general population. I agree with that. But let's get to some of this shit. Anyways, this woman wanted to tell me about the case. She wanted to tell me about the whole case as if I haven't made 300 videos on the fucking thing. But it's all good. So we get someone like this, Mike Hawk. And Mike Hawk has been here before. Mike Hawk says, hold on, you realize BK won't see a day in prison, right? He's slated to spend the rest of his sentence in a mental health facility. I couldn't think of a better way to silently release BK. With the money he undoubtedly received. I said, show me the documentation. He said, check the court documents. He's going to a mental health facility. Okay, there's another person that said shit like this. So let me just go ahead and lay this all out. He's not going to a mental health facility. Do you understand that? He's going to a maximum security prison. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more because somebody else made this comment. These people are still such pro-burgers. They're like, he may have admitted this. He's still not guilty and he's still not going to prison. So they bring up a documentation that was sealed, and I'll talk about it here in a second, where it was a mental stability. They were trying to check his mental stability because they were trying to get him out of the death penalty. These people think, and I don't know which one of these goober tubers told these motherfuckers that he's going to a mental health facility. He's not. Idaho doesn't have. There is no insanity plea. And we saw the plea. He didn't plead guilty by reason of insanity. Bryan Kohberger is guilty of 4 murders. He's going to the big house. I'm going to show you which one here in just a second. These people are truly, truly out there. But anyway, I want to go to somebody who presented their argument. Okay, Mike Hawk right here says, where did BK get a tan? I thought he was in solitary confinement. Once again, these goobers don't know shit. You think that when we're in solitary confinement you think we don't get recreation in the penitentiary? It's mandatory. It's mandatory for us to get an hour, or in jail. It's mandatory for us to get an hour of recreation. It is currently summertime. You don't think standing outside for an hour, which I guarantee you Bryan Kohberger's doing, being in solitary for 23 hours, when you get out, you're going to go stand outside and soak up the sun. So, and it's not even like he's that damn sunburned. They're like, he's tan. He looks like he's been outside every day for 2 months. Because he probably has. You people have absolutely no knowledge, but yet you try to argue with me. It's so weird. Does people in solitary get rec time in Boise, Idaho? Based on available information about solitary confinement in Idaho prisons and correctional standards, individuals in solitary confinement or ADSEG in Boise, Idaho are typically allowed to leave their cells for activities such as showers and recreation. This is typical in every institution. Even Richard Allen, they had his ass in the shoe, though. They had his ass in the shoe, so maybe not if you're in the shoe, but that was a prison facility. In a county jail, before you're even found guilty, especially if you're there for 2.5 years, they have to give you recreation. At the time, you're innocent. They have to give you visitations unless you get a disciplinary issue. They have to let you go outside. Just because he was in solitary for his own protection doesn't mean he was in the hole for disciplinary issues. And even in the hole, a lot of times you still get recreation. You just ain't allowed to have pens and paper. The ignorance in this community, why you guys slop snack cakes all over your shirt and try to act like you know some shit because you watch true crime TV or your favorite conspiracy YouTuber is beyond insane. Beyond insane. But let's go back. So how did he get a tan? From the sun? From the sun? Anyways, I like this. When you're a whiner, it's disturbing. I said, you don't have to watch, dummy. It would prevent you from being disturbed. It's very rare I get those kind of comments. But the snack cakers are typically unsubscribing or going away now. They're, everybody here. Thank you, Dolores. I see the $2 there. Appreciate it. Nikki, appreciate you. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue going on up here because I want to get, there's a comment. Not the Robert Jawicki. This motherfucker, I gotta read you these. Problem I have is at the plea deal hearing, how did Bryan get a golden tan? In solitary, no less. Maybe because he wasn't in jail. All 4 kids are in witness protection. Do you see the type of dumb motherfuckers that come in my comment section? The kids aren't dead. He thinks that there was no murder. How did Bryan get a tan? Now, he must not have been in jail. Do you understand? Recreation is often outside, particularly in nice weather, hot weather, because typically you're inside a lot in the winter, particularly in the county when you don't have your DOC gear and coat, and you know what I'm saying? But in the county, you're usually doing rec inside during the winter, especially if you live in a cold state. During the summer, it's kind of summer vacation. You're outside, touching grass. And do that, you go stand outside under the sun for 1 hour per day and see if you don't get a tan. This motherfucker, he jumps to so stupid of conclusions. He's like, the kids aren't even dead. Bryan Kohberger, he must have not even been in jail. Here you go, he's the same guy. He says, does anyone have any proof the 4 were killed? Yes, we do. Their parents are saying so. The state of Idaho is saying so. The FBI is saying so. The police are saying so. Bryan Kohberger is saying so. Duh. Yeah, that's proof. The coroner said so. Duh. These people are literally retarded. Any? No, we don't. Nobody's removed. It's not a picture it didn't happen situation. There's murders that happen all over the country that you don't see the bodies removed. Nope, there's no murders at all. This whole trial makes no sense, and anybody that follows trials can obviously see this whole case is messed up. Robert, go get a goddamn doctor. Here he goes again. The reason that there's no murders is because 2 of the 4 parents of the victims is going to testify against the cartels and JJB. These people are fucking nuts. They're still holding on to the same conspiracies. That's why they're in witness protection. Like I said, there's more proof there's more proof. Like I said, there's more proof there were murders. What the fuck are you saying? I said, go away, man. Go make up shit somewhere else. Nobody gets a dark tan in solitary confinement. I guess he forgot he already said this. And yes, you do. Anyways, let's go to a comment that actually I did want to respond to. His name is Josh Stevenson here. He said he's not going to prison. Josh Hurwitz set it up so he'll go to the Idaho State Prison South for mental health treatment. This once again, we're going back to he's going to the nut house. He said, just go back and look at the court docs. I've read every court doc. That's the only thing that Hewitt came in and did. He came in to end and quiet the case, he says. I said, he's definitely going to prison. Where is the paperwork, and why isn't it on the Idaho docket, and why would that be a sentence before sentence? Why would there already be a sentence before sentencing? It's intake for all prisons, by the way. It's the diagnostic center. That's what the Idaho State Prison South is. So I don't know what YouTuber's telling him this. Then he comes with these motions for examination of defendant pursuant to Idaho Code, blah, blah, blah. They got their independent evaluation and everything was sealed. That's right. It was sealed. And he still didn't plead guilty by the means of insanity. Because he can't. That's what the defendant's December 23rd request for discovery was about. Exhibits S1 and S2 are the mental evaluations. He literally just made it up. There is no evidence, Josh, that anything you're saying is accurate. You know why? Because it's fucking sealed. So now you want me to believe that you have access to something none of us have access to? Or your favorite YouTuber? I bet I can guess who it is. Anyways, state's motion to seal exhibits attached to state supplemental rebuttal disclosure. He says that they're neurophysiologic, God damn it, evaluations, 7 o'clock in the morning. Hewitt came in, filed the motion, and got it done and offered BK the deal. No death penalty, no prison. I want you to understand. Says he's not going to prison. My response is, you do know that all male inmates go through intake at the prison you mentioned. There's only room for 400 men in that entire facility, and it's not even maximum security. Bro, you're just telling me about sealed documents. Have you seen these sealed documents? He's 100% going to prison. We will definitely see on the 23rd when he is sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences in the state penitentiary. I'd be willing to bet the farm on it. As you said, the documents you're speaking of is sealed. I'm going to get more to that in a second. Then Sean Riley says, is that the same shirt from the selfie? If so, it should be... If so, it should be evidence. Evidence of what? The case is over. He confessed to the motherfucking murders. Holy shit. Now let's continue on. We're done with this whole part. But because I did do some research for you, and I posted this on my wall. I said, Bryan Kohberger, no, is not going to a mental facility. He's going to prison. His first stop will be the intake diagnostic facility in Idaho State Prison South, more than likely. That's the intake where he will get his DOC number. Trust me, every person that's ever been to prison stops at an intake center where they get classified before getting sent to a prison that matches their classification. If you people have never been to prison, shut the fuck up. Anybody that's been to prison that watches me, or anybody that's ever even had a close spouse or go to prison, they will tell you every person that goes to prison goes to a diagnostic center, an intake center, where they are classified. Where I've been is 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's not in Idaho. I'll tell you what the classifications are. The Idaho Department of Correction has 3 main custody levels for inmates serving long-term sentences, or term sentences: close, medium, and minimum. Which one do you think Kohberger's going to be? You think he's going to be minimum? You think he's going to be medium? Inmates are initially placed in the Reception and Diagnostics Unit, RDU. where they undergo evaluations before being assigned a custody level. Kohberger will be a more than likely to get a max level due to his crimes, which would be considered close. Bryan Kohberger will 100% be in a state prison and may even be in solitary confinement for several years, before entering general population. Point is, the continued claims that BK is innocent or not going to prison is crazy and simply just untrue. He was found guilty. Wasn't found guilty by the reason of insanity, and Idaho doesn't even have that defense. So I want you to understand this. I want you to read this. The institution that you mentioned, I even underlined it for you. By the way, even if he was going here, it's still a prison. The facility serves as reception and diagnostics unit for all male inmates entering the Idaho prison system. And a friend from Idaho right here, Chris, he said correct. He's actually in Idaho right now. He's been to RDU. He's been even transferred to that facility. He said he'll probably go to Orofino. He said he'll probably go to Orofino. Now, let me tell you something. I don't think he'll necessarily go to Orofino. By the way, if you look right here at this little prison, this right here is the Idaho Correctional Institution. This is the one you're talking about. As you see, only 300 males. This is just diagnostics. Okay? Where he's probably going is the Idaho Maximum Security Institution. This is the big boy. This is where the murderers and the robbers and the violent criminals go. Because that's the way prison works. Man. All right. So, oh yeah, I was watching him. Not bad. Shocking secret, by the way. We'll get to some other shit. Because I don't want to sit here and make fun of the snack cakers all day. Look, all I'm saying is, and then somebody even asked, how did he get a haircut? There's jail barbers. There's prison barbers. Why don't you just ask how he got a suit? How'd he get a tie? Do you think he gets to keep the tie in jail? You think he gets to keep the dresser in jail? And to be honest, a lot of you people are asking, how did he get, like somebody said, is that the shirt that he took in the picture? No. This outfit was probably provided by the state, by the county. When you go to trial, if you're indigent or don't have a suit because you're in a different state than the state a lot of times, if you're going to trial, will provide you a suit, provide you a dress shirt. The same thing happened with what's her name, the bitch, Leilani Simon. It happens all the time, man. These people are fucking nut jobs. By the way, here's the secret about Bill Thompson, whose death penalty sparing plea, pissed everybody off. Well, during his 33 years in office, he's never secured a death sentence for any of the killers he's convicted during his time. Not a single one. He's a libtard prosecutor that typically, even if he goes for the death penalty, he doesn't really go for the death penalty. So if you want to know why the prosecution made the deal, it's because the prosecution is a fucking Democrat that's probably against the death penalty. You know that's how the libtards are. They're all against the death penalty. They're okay with killing babies. But they definitely don't, they typically don't kill the fucking killers. So no, there's plenty of people here he was unable to convict. I mean, unable to get no death penalty for any of them. I wonder if, there's one. The only death sentence obtained by Thompson, was 2000. Dale Shackelford killed his ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend and burned their bodies. He got the death penalty. The rest of them, that he struck a deal with. So Bill Thompson hasn't gotten a death penalty in 25 years. Yeah, it's good he got rid of that motherfucker. Oh, no, that's right. He didn't get rid of that motherfucker. But every deal that he's brokered, every plea deal, it's let people go. Bill Thompson, just a libtard, he doesn't want to push for it. By the way, there's former attorney generals and shit saying that Bryan Kohberger will be in solitary confinement for the rest of their life. His life. This is a lie. Nobody is in ADSEG. Nobody is in solitary. Nobody's in the hole for their entire life. That's a ridiculous statement.
Four University of Idaho students will be sentenced in less than 3 weeks. And tonight, the former Idaho Attorney General says Bryan Kohberger, the man accused, could spend the rest of his life in solitary confinement. The students were found stabbed to death in November of 2022. Yesterday, Kohberger pleaded guilty to their murders. At sentencing, the victims' families, witnesses, even Kohberger himself will have the opportunity to speak.
I hope he does.
After that, he'll be transferred from jail to a correctional facility south of Boise.
When each new inmate goes to the Department of Corrections, they go through an RDU.
Thank you, sir.
Unit, a reception and diagnostic unit.
Diagnostics, like I've been saying the whole time.
And to which time their crime, their criteria, their personal needs, their mental situation, their health situation is evaluated. And then they are placed within the system by the department.
That's right.
I would expect him to be in solitary confinement for the rest of his life.
Sentencing is scheduled for
They said he expects him to be in solitary confinement for the rest of his days. I don't expect that. Not at all. So there's plenty of, information along with this, and just so you know, I want to make a quick comment on this whole Aryan Brotherhood thing. We're really going to do this Aryan Brother thing 2 cases in a row? Man, if the Aryans heard motherfuckers saying this, shit. Now, I will say this. Harsh got this from somebody that's been in the joint. He was in the joint up in South Carolina or something like that, I heard Harsh say. Not Harsh, but the guy he was talking to. And the dude, I didn't say he was an Aryan, I don't know what he is. But the dude said that it's unlikely that he'll be killed because more than likely the Aryans will bring him in and use him as an asset. That could very well be true. That could very well be true. Because like he said, he's already shown the propensity, the willingness to kill and stab people. Bryan Kohberger may have to do that in prison to survive. And the Brotherhood actually might use him to bring him in, to use him as a crash test dummy, as an asset, as something to trade around. And this is what makes the entire Aryan Brotherhood thing with Delphi so stupid. Now we can talk about the Aryan Brotherhood because we're going to be talking about prison. We're going to be talking about prison now. The whole Delphi thing, you're talking about the Aryan Brotherhood murdered 2 little white girls and then blamed her. You guys are likes. But I want to say this about the inmate. He said exactly what I said. Inmates will not care if you killed this street justice shit that these people be talking about. It's not real. Inmates don't give a shit if you kill some hoes or not. Inmates don't give a shit about none of that. Now, will they kill you for street cred or potential commissary or anything like that? Yeah. Yeah, of course. That was the position I've made. I personally don't think Kohberger will make it 5 years. Man up there in South Carolina or whatever, he said he would. He said that it would only be, the only gang that would pull him in is the Aryans. He believes the Aryans would pull him in. I don't believe Bryan Kohberger can be a neutron. And my man up in South Carolina or whatever, he knows what a neutron is. A neutron means you're neutral. You don't side with any gang. Bryan Kohberger, in my opinion, doesn't have the gravitas, the size, the ability to be a neutron. Just to be perfectly honest. So his best chance of surviving probably is to jump on the Aryan side. Because if he does this, the Aryans will protect him. Because he's white. As long as he, keeps it real, he'll be fine. They know that there's going to be a target on his back. And so they know they're going to be able to take advantage of BK for that reason. Protection is a wonderful thing. Just being honest. When you're not used to the prison lifestyle, protection is a wonderful thing. But where BK has an advantage going into prison is that he's already been down 2.5 years in solitary. So it's just the truth. But anyways, that's the truth about everything. The only reason I show Harsh video, Harsh still does this thing over here. I see state asset witness. Oh shit, here we go. I'm telling you, I think Harsh is even watching the snack cakers. Because as you can see, they're still, telling you, nobody with the murders didn't, next thing you know, how'd he get the tan? Murders didn't even happen. They're all state witness, they're all in witness protection and shit. With the Aryan Brotherhood, shit. Anyways, man. Shout out to Harsh, he does good work over there. That motherfucker milking this like a baby on the tit, and the last little drop. I swear he is. Anyways, shout out to Harsh. All right, guys, I love y'all. If you like what I do here and you find my content valuable and you want to piss off that troll that had something to say in the beginning, you can hit the tip jar. The links are down below. I love you guys very much, and I will see you guys in the next video tomorrow. I'll be over on my other channels all day. You guys have a good one. Peace out.